In this Blender tutorial, I'll show you how to create this procedural blue jay eggs material. Now, I'm creating this material specifically for a new tutorial series which I'm creating on how to create this bird nest nature scene. So if you want to go ahead and watch that tutorial, I'll have a link to it in the video description when it's released, and hopefully I'll be releasing it in just a couple of days after I release this video. So we'll be using the blue jay eggs material in that tutorial to add the blue jay eggs in the nest. So after I create the procedural material, I'll show you how to join it together into this node group. So we have the scale to change the size of the entire material. Then we just have the blue speckle scale, so there's little small dots. And then there's also the brown speckle scale, which is the larger dots. Then we have the base egg color. So you could keep this as a white color to make it more look like a generic egg or a brown egg, but blue jay eggs are actually kind of like a blue color. And then there's also the small speckles color and the large speckle color. Then there's the small and large speckle size, which is actually the size of each individual speckle. Then there is the roughness of the material, and then there's the noise bump scale. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little bit of noise over the surface. And then finally the bump strength. So it's kind of hard to see in this result here, but if you look closely, you can see there is a very subtle bump strength over the surface just to make the egg very slightly bumpy. So if you'd like to purchase this procedural material, you can get it with the links in the video description. And you can also check out my Ultimate Blender Procedural Material Pack if you'd like to purchase all of my materials. And to learn how to create more materials, you can check out my Blender Procedural Material Tutorial playlist. So I'll show you what I have set up in the 3D viewport if you want to set up the blend file the same way that I have. So I went to the add menu, I went to mesh, and I added a UV sphere, and then I scaled the sphere down by a 0.2, and then hit Control A and applied the scale. Then I went into edit mode, and I turned on proportional editing, and I clicked on the top vertice, or the vertex there, and I'll hit G to grab and bring it up on the Z axis, and I'll scroll my mouse wheel to change the size of the proportional editing, just to make that classic egg shape, and then I'll shade the object smooth, and then I'll hit Control 1 just to add a subdivision surface with one level. Then I duplicated the egg and just made two of them just kind of sitting next to each other. And then I also added a camera and just pointed the camera at the objects. And if you select the camera and click over here on the object data properties of the camera, I turn the focal length up to 80 just to kind of zoom the camera in a bit. Now as for the lighting, I went over here to the world properties and I added in this Whipple Creek Gazebo 1K HDRI from polyhaven.com. So I'll have a link in the video description if you want to download it. And I downloaded the 1K HDR version on Polyhaven. So once you download the HDRI, you can click on the yellow dot here next to color and choose environment texture, and then click on the open button and open up the HDRI. And then also let's go up here to the render properties, and I went down here to the film tab and clicked on the transparent button, so the background's transparent. And here on the color management, I'm using the view transform of Filmic, and I set the look to very high contrast. So I'm in the shading workspace, so I have the 3D viewport right over here, and I'm in the rendered mode, and I'll select the object and we'll add a new material, and I'll drag and drop the material onto this object as well, so they both have the same material, and I can just rename the material. And then I'll also be using the Node Wrangler add-on in the video, so if you don't have that enabled, you can click on Edit, and you can go to the Preferences. And here on the Add-ons tab, if you go here to the search, you can type in Node and just enable the Node Wrangler add-on. So I'm first going to start by searching for a Voronoi texture. Let's drop this here, and I'll Control-Shift select the Voronoi texture to preview it. Now you can see that these little dots here look slightly stretched. So if I hit Control-T with the Voronoi texture selected, that's going to add the texture coordinate and mapping nodes, and I'm going to plug the object into the vector so it's using the object coordinates. And then I can turn the scale up, and you can see they don't look stretched so much. If I set it to generated, you can see with generated they're just stretched up and down a little bit, but with object coordinates they're going to not be stretched, so that looks better. Then I'll turn the scale up, so I'm going to turn the scale to 80, and I'll leave all the other settings how they are. Now what I want to do is distort the Voronoi slightly with a noise, so I'm going to search for a noise texture and drop this here between the mapping and the Voronoi, but then to make the noise texture less strong or have less of an effect, I'm going to search for the mix color and drop it here after the noise. Now the noise factor, that is going to go into color B, and then the mapping vector, that is going to go into color A. And then here on the mix type, I'm going to change this to the linear light. So we're basically using the linear light here to blend between the mapping, which isn't distorted, and the noise texture, which is distorted. So I can drag the factor up and down to control the amount of distortion, and I'm going to turn the factor to a 0.02. So it is going to be pretty subtle. And then I'll change some of the settings for the noise texture. So I'll turn the scale to 15, and I'll turn the detail up just a little bit to a 3, and then I'll leave the other settings how they are. So you can see The shape of it is just slightly distorted. Now I'm going to select the linear light and the Voronoi texture, and I'll hit Control-Shift-D. So Control-Shift-D will duplicate the nodes but keep the wires plugged up, and I'll stick them down here, and I'll Control-Shift-select this Voronoi texture. So we have another one, but I'm going to change this one. So I'm going to turn the scale to 35, so it is bigger, and then I'm also going to turn the factor here to a 0.03 instead, so it's a little bit more distorted. So we're going to use these to create both of those different little dots there, or speckles, on the egg. So what I want to do is make them more contrasted. So I'm going to search for a color ramp, and I'll put the color ramp here after this Voronoi, and then I can drag the black tab over and drag the white tab over. And this first mask here, this black and white texture that we're creating, is going to be the larger dots. So just like that. Then I'm going to duplicate this color ramp and stick it up here, and I'll Control-Shift select it to preview it, and the distance can go into the factor, and this is going to be the smaller dot. So I'm going to drag this back a little bit and drag the white tab over a little bit so they're even smaller. So we have the bigger dots and the smaller dots. Now I want to create some custom colors. So here on the smaller dots, I'm going to search for the Mix Color node and drop this here after the color ramp, and the color can go into the factor. So we can now make the custom colors. So for color A, I'm going to make this a slightly darker blue, and for color B, this is going to be a lighter blue. And if you do want to use the exact same hex codes I'm using here for color A, you can punch in this hex code right here, and then for color B, you can punch in this hex code right here. So those are the custom colors, so I can put the mix result into the base color, and I'll Control-Shift select the principled shader. Now what I also want to do is turn the roughness down, so I'll turn the roughness to a 0.35 so the egg is a bit more shiny. So now what I want to do is mix in the larger dots, or the larger speckles. So I'm going to select this mix, and I will duplicate it with Shift-D, drop it here after the first one, and I'll put the color ramp color into the factor, and then I can put the mix result into color B. So now here for color A, this can be the color of those other dots. So I'm just going to make it this brown color right here, and if you want to punch in the same hex code, you can punch in this hex code there into color A. Now what I also want to do is just add a little bit of noise over the surface to make it a bit bumpy. So I'm going to search for a noise texture, drop it here, and then I can take the mapping vector, which is using the object coordinates, and I'll put that into the vector, the noise. And then the noise texture factor can go into the normal to give it some bump. But you can see that looks really messed up, and that's because we need to convert the noise texture data, which is black and white, into normal data. So to do this, we're going to search for a bump node and put this in between the principled shader and the noise. And I'm going to put the noise texture factor into the height value to convert it to bump data. So now I want to change the noise texture settings. So I'll turn the scale to 10, and I'll turn the detail to 8, and I'll turn the roughness up to a 0.6. So now I want to make it less strong because it looks way too bumpy right now. So I'm going to take this distance and I'll turn it to a 0.001. So a 0.001. Now if I zoom in really closely, you can kind of see it just a little bit on the reflections, but it is very subtle, and I think it should be pretty smooth because this is an egg, so it should be very smooth, but I just want to add a tiny little bit of surface bump. But you can of course make it stronger by like turning this strength value up if you want to make it stronger, or turn the distance up. Now another thing that I want to do is I want to be able to control the size of those speckles. So if I select all these nodes, so the Voronoi textures and all the other ones behind it, and I drag it back here, I can search for a hue saturation value node, and I'll put this in between the Voronoi and the color ramp. This way we have a value which I can drag up and down, and that's going to make the texture lighter and darker. If I Control-Shift select it to preview it, you can see if I drag the value, that's going to make it lighter and darker, so we can use that to control the size of it. So let's duplicate the hue saturation value and put another one down here, and so this one will also change the size of the larger dots. So that is it for the procedural material. So I'll now show you how to join it together into a node group. So I'm going to box select all the nodes except the material output, and I'll hit Control G to join it together into a node group, and I'll hit the tab key to outside the node group, and I'll drag the node group over here, and let's drag it out to make it bigger, and I will copy the material name, and I'm just going to paste it here into the node group. So let's hit the tab key with the node group selected, and I'll hit the N key to open up the side panel, and I'll go to the group tab, and I'm going to double click on the BSDF here on the group sockets, and I'm going to rename this to shader because I like that better. So now right over here we have the group input, and we can plug up all the custom values to the group input to control them outside of the node group. So this mapping is plugged up to all the textures, so the scale is going to control the size size of the entire material. So I'll put the scale into the extra socket. Let's click on the scale. The problem with this is that it's going to be 3 values, but I just want it to be 1 value. So we'll change the vector type to float instead, and then I'll turn the default value to 1, and then let's hit tab to go outside the node group, and I'll turn the scale back to 1. So now that'll control the entire scale, so we'll go back into the node group. Now the next value that I want to control is the size of the small dots. So we can take the top Voronoi scale and we'll put that into the extra socket. And this one I'll call blue dots scale. Then I want to do the same thing for the bottom Voronoi, so the scale can go into the extra socket. And this one is going to be called brown dots scale. So if we go outside the node group, that's just controlling the blue dots and the brown dots. You could also control the distortion value if you wanted to. You could add these factors here to control the distortion, but I don't really want to do that. I don't think that's very useful. You could also change the noise scale if you wanted to, but again, I don't find that too useful to use. So now I want to add the colors, so I'll drag the group input over here, and we can take the egg color and put that into the extra socket, and then we have the 2 different colors here for the dots. So let's double click on this to rename it, and I'm going to rename this to egg color, and then I'll call this small dots color, and then the other one is going to be large dots color, or you could call it large speckles color. And I kind of like that better. I think calling it speckles is a little bit nicer than calling it dots. So I'm just going to quickly rename all these to blue speckles scale, brown speckles scale, and then the small speckles color and large speckles color. Then I'm going to control the size of each individual speckle, so I can change the size of it right here on both of these values, on the hue saturation values. So I'll drag this back and I'll put the value into the extra socket and then the other value into the extra socket. And let's rename these to small speckle size, and this one is going to be large speckle size. Then I want to control the roughness, so I'll drag the group input over here and I'll put the roughness in the extra socket. And then also I want to control the bump strength, so I'll put the strength into the extra socket, and I can just rename this to bump strength. And also if you want to, you could maybe put the noise scale, so I'll take this noise, put that into the extra socket, and let's just drag this up here, drop it there, and this one I can call noise bump scale. So let's hit the N key to close the side panel. I'll drag the group input back here, and then I'll hit the tab key to go outside the node group. So let's review the materials. So we have the overall scale, we have the blue speckle size, the brown speckle size, then we have the egg base color. We can also drag this out bigger so we can see everything. Then we have the small speckles color and the large speckles color, and then we also have the small speckle size, so that's the individual size, as well as the large one, and then the roughness. We also have the noise bump scale, and then finally the bump strength. So that'll be it for this tutorial, so I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching. And if you'd like to purchase this procedural material, you can get it with the links in the video description. You can also check out my Ultimate Blender Procedural Material Pack to purchase all of my procedural materials, and you can check out my procedural material tutorial playlist to learn how to create more procedural materials. And I created this material specifically for my bird nest nature scene tutorial series, so when that tutorial series is released, I'll have the link in the video description. You can go ahead and watch that tutorial series and learn how to create this cool nature scene if you're interested. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching.